Okay. And the path through the eight limbs, the Yoga Sutras or the eight-limbed path of yoga. We're gonna choosing our quality, our focus today, our intention. So maybe just coming to mountain pose. Just drop into a nice tall posture with your feet about hip width apart. Find your feet grounded, toes spread. Centers of your heels pressing down. And just a little softness. We're going to soften our mountain pose, more like Qigong, just letting our joints have a little ease. So as you let your knees bend and your arms soften, kind of let your joints relax. Now let an awareness travel from the crown of your head. So this, we have this kind of soft spot right at the crown of our head called the byway in Qigong. We're just going to kind of let a river of light or a plumb line go right down through our body, down to through the center of the earth, right? So it's between the inner edges of our feet, goes right down into the earth. And we're right on that plumb line with our posture, with our body, but mostly with our awareness. I'm going to start to let the breath come in and out, right? With awareness, just noticing your natural breath. You might close your eyes if you want to. Just using this time with our breath to get a little more centered right here on that central channel. Letting go of the morning and the distractions and the mental chatter. And then just stating to yourself your intention. If it's non-harming, just taking that intention to your mind, and we're just going to embody our intention. So, whatever quality that is for yourself today, just take a deep breath and reach your arms out, right? We're starting to bring that intention into our body. So, on the exhale, bring your palms down the center, almost like you're bringing that intention into your mind, your body, your belly, and down back to the earth as you're exhaling. And we're just going to continue that. So the inhale, gathering up that intention for yourself. Maybe you're conserving energy. So you're softening and just moving with awareness, with a real more yin-like movement, right? Breathing and reaching up, breathing out, drawing that quality of maybe it's self-study into your body, embodying that quality. So continuing to seal your intention with your exhalation down through the body. So these qualities of yamas and niyamas, they just are a framework to say, maybe try this. And see how you feel. Good. And then just step your legs out a little wider, just warming up a little bit. We're going to use a little more Qigong today. So it's a lot like yoga. We're going to shift to the right, bringing our hands to our thighs first. Shift your weight to the right, bending the right knee, just stretching the inner edge of that left leg, right? So the inner thigh, stretching tendons. And then shift to the other side. So it's inner thigh stretch. And just go back and forth with your breath. So we're going to inhale, shifting right. Exhale, left. Pushing into the earth. Feeling the toes, the feet, the heels. Feeling the legs stretch and push. And a bit of watery motion, right, for the water element. We'll start to add our rib cage. So now we could come up a little bit. You might be higher. You're going to lead with your side ribs, right? Just shift side to side. So this is like a river. The spine is watery. And we use our breath, right? Try to lead with your side ribs, just getting a little stretch in the side, starting to warm up side bending, warm up the spine. Good, so almost like we're making a C shape with our spine as we go one side and then the other. Good, and we'll come all the way up, right? Stepping back into our mountain pose. Good, take an inhale breath. Let's bring our fingertips to our shoulders, elbows out to the sides, and just a few circles, just warming up the upper back and shoulders. So the inhale up the front, exhale down and around. Staying with your intention. Good, we'll bring those arms down and shake them out a little, shake the hands out a little bit, bounce a little bit. So we're gonna shake. You can just kind of let your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your leg muscles bounce, your heels lift and lower. And when we shake, we're bouncing our fascia, but we're also shaking off tension in the nervous system. So you could shake all over, right? Shake, 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 shake it off. So wherever you feel you have something holding on, just kind of shake it, right? Shake it off. Good. Bounce your legs. Let your jaw maybe relax. Good. We'll pause. Step a little wider. Toes turned out. Sunflowers. So with our breath in, we're going to reach all the way up. And the exhale, bend the knees, bring the arms down, just like you're gathering up a big bouquet. And then inhale, come all the way back up. And exhale, bend the knees, coming lower. So warming the hip joints, right? Warming the stretch. Reaching through the fingers, stretching the tendons. So this helps, actually the liver is related to our tendons. we'll come back to neutral. Right? Check in with how you feel as we warm the body up for some poses in asana and grounding. So we're going to move into some windmills or water turning, making a soft fist, bringing the arms overhead. Start to flow to the right, circling, turning that big wheel. Exhale down and around, low as you're comfortable with. Inhale up the side. Exhale, circle around. Staying on your central channel of light, right? So we stay within ourselves, within our own breath. And maybe reverse it, making it smaller or larger, depending on your body. And coming all the way back up, reaching tall. Lowering the arms down by your sides and pause. Just noticing your breath. Checking back in with your intention. Good. Just one more warming for the hips. We're going to step to our mountain pose, facing the short end of our mat, and then step our left foot back, warrior one. Right, bending the front knee, coming into warrior one. Taking our arms up the front, coming open wide towards the heavens, opening the chest, looking up. And then when you exhale, we're going to bring our hands down the front, straighten the front leg, hands go to the kidney area. We're going to come halfway down, right? Just a little bow towards the leg. Halfway down, almost like a wide pyramid stance. And then we'll repeat that, right? So the inhale, we bend the knee, come up and open with the arms. The exhale, the arms come down, bend, straighten the leg, bowing forward. And we'll come all the way back up, stepping forward, pause and mountain. And let's step our right foot back, warrior one. Steady and stable and grounded, both feet, bending the front knee, coming up and open with the arms, right? Warming the hips. So as we press into that back leg, nice straight back leg, wide open through the chest, arms wide, breath in. Exhaling, bowing forward, hands come down to the kidney area. Following your breath. Inhale up and open, bend the front knee. Exhale. Straighten the leg, hinge at your hip. So maybe try this last one with your breath. And stepping all the way forward, mountain pose. Good. We're going to grab a block. So we come into that nice groundedness of asana where we get further into the steady, stable positioning of our poses. So as we place our block between our thighs, stepping our feet maybe a little bit closer so we can feel the femur bones squeezing the block. Right, we're going to take our arms overhead, coming into Utkatasana, our chair pose. So it's a great pose for stability. For every pose where we come into standing, we use these muscles of the low belly and the pelvic floor. So we're going to sit back, right? Take our hips back and the inner edges of our feet grounded. Squeezing the block and breath. Good. If the shoulders or the neck are too tight, bring the hands to the heart. Always sliding those shoulder blades down your back and a slight tuck of your tailbone, right? Just a little bit, not too much, just to feel the low belly hug in towards the sacrum. Right? Wherever you are, maybe take one or two more breaths. And we'll sweep our arms down, stretch tall, straighten the legs. We'll clasp the hands, press the palms up, lift the heels, still squeezing the block if you can. Holding for 5 breaths. Good. We'll lower the arms down, soften. We'll release that block, place it aside. Remembering the feeling, the muscle memory of squeezing that block, we're going to step wide, right? Come into wide legs, arms out to a T, right? Find a place where all 4 corners of your feet are grounded. Your skeletal structure supports your muscles. And we're going to turn our toes to the right, coming into warrior 2. Right, so keep that nice openness through the hip area, right? Our hips are facing outwards while our right knee is over our ankle. And in asana or poses, we start to work to bring us steadiness and ease, right? So if you can feel your bones come to a steady place. As we start to feel the sensation of building in the muscles, notice that you might go in a little deeper into yourself, scanning for support. And then we'll just straighten that right leg, let the arms come down for a moment, and bend the knee again. We're going to come into side angle. So reaching out. So let the right arm kind of pull you away from that back left heel. So lengthen out through the side, stretching, and bring your forearm down to your thigh, gently pressing the thigh into the forearm into the thigh. Left arm up and over, building our architecture of asana. And then let the breath arrive, right? Take several nice deep breaths. You're not just arriving in your breath and in your body, but in your intention. What are you cultivating today? And we'll sweep that left arm down, around, pull the torso back up. Arms could extend again, moving into triangle. So, right, reaching out or sliding the hand down, coming into your triangle pose. Giving you moments to arrive, body, breath, and intention. And then we'll circle or let that left arm pull the torso back up, circle around. Let's shorten our stance, right? Coming into pyramid pose, right? A shorter stance than we had earlier for pyramid. And the back toe slightly turned out, hips face forward in pyramid. Find your hip joints. And let's take this time, if it's available to you, clasp the hands behind your back. So it could be holding your elbows or reverse prayer, right? This one's a little more challenging, right? Bringing the hands, palms together behind your back. So hinging at your hip joint, let's come into pyramid. So we bow in, taking 5 breaths here. And then softening the knee, extend the spine, coming all the way back up and step forward. Good. Soft knees. Reaching out, breathing in. With an exhale, bring your intention, sealing it into your body. Hands come down the front. Good. And we'll step wide again. Right? Nice, strong, sturdy stance. This time, bring your hands to your hips and feel your hinge at your hip joints. We're going to come into wide-legged forward bend. Walking your hands to the feet or floor, or to the floor or block, I should say. And maybe walking back slowly, right? Coming into a pressure down with the palms into the floor as you shift your weight forward into your heels or into your toes, the balls of your feet. Right, and a softness in the knees, like so we're pressing down into the balls of the feet. Taking 3 breaths. It's really going into the breath at the end once you find a place of stillness. And then walking your hands forward, looking forward, lengthening your spine out. Right, we'll take our spinal twist. So again, left hand plants, reach the right arm out to the side, start to spin on that plumb line right down your center. Okay, checking in, body, breath, and then intention. We'll lower that arm down. Let's find the other side with a longer length in our spine. We start to spin to the left. Circling that arm back down and around, and walk your hands up. Right, coming to center. Right, turning your heels in, sealing your intention with the breath. So with the inhale, reaching up. And exhale down the center. Stretching the arms out, we'll turn our toes to the left. Coming into your warrior two, pause and hold. Getting steadier and less restless as we go. We'll straighten the leg for a moment, lower the arms, and then moving into side angle, bending the knee again and reaching, right? So reach out with that left arm, maybe beyond the knee if it's available, and then bring the forearm to the thigh, using that dynamic pressure between the forearm and thigh to spin your right side of your chest up. Sending out all your neuromuscular connections. So the sensory perception out to your bottoms of your feet, your fingertips, your breath. So you're fully embodied here. Let's reach with that right arm to pull us back up, straighten the left leg, moving into triangle. We'll hinge at the hip, right? Slide the left hand down and engage with the earth. So we're not hanging out in our upper body. We're actually rooting to rise and extend. Especially the back foot, there's a bit of squeeze with the ball of the foot, little supination in the foot that the arch will lift. And we'll reach with that right arm, come all the way back up. Let it sweep down. And turn to the left, shorten our stance, pyramid pose, right? Parsvottanasana, turning our hips to face the left, right? Finding roots to rise, binding your elbows, or reverse prayer with the hands. As an option, we're going to lift through the spine, lengthen out, hinge at the hips. 5 breaths. Asana is a steady, comfortable seat, and finding our steady point, our letting go of restlessness, involves embodiment, breath, and intention. It's all a bridge towards a deeper meditation. And we'll come all the way back up, releasing the hands, step forward, mountain pose. Soften our mountain pose into soft knees and joints, sweeping out and up with our breath, embodying our intention with the exhale, sealing it in. Palms come down the front. Maybe it's gratefulness today. It's gratefulness, sealing it in. Good, mountain. And coming into a Uttanasana. So feet about hip width apart, right? While standing forward bend. But taking our hands behind the back, we'll clasp them, roll the shoulders back. Or you could use a strap here behind your back, you decide. So rolling the upper arm bones back, lengthening the arms towards the floor. Right, so a low ribs kind of hug back and in as our spine lifts up. Good, well inhale and then reach out, right? So as we come outward, let's take a few breaths to get there. So we're gonna bend the knees as we go, keeping the length in our back, hip hinging, lifting arms away from our back, but dropping our head. So we gently pull our chin back, sealing off. Once you're there, let's hold again 3 to 5 breaths. Pressing into the inner edges of your feet. So we're not rolling out. The next exhale, just release your arms, plant them forward, and just bend your knees a little bit more. Send your hips way back. If you can't, walk your fingertips out. If you need to, you could put them on a chair or a bed or block. And but we're kind of walking our hands away from each other. Our scapula are elevating on our back. We're lengthening out, like our weight's going to go back into our heels, and our fingertips are going to counter that balance, right? And bending your knees a little bit more. Good. Keeping that length in your back. Walk your fingertips over to the right. Right? If it feels right, stay there. You'll feel that length on your left side of your body. And take several breaths here. And it's more about, right, what do I notice in this shape? Right? It's a different shape. Is there tension or blocked areas on this side? And then as I walk my hands to the other side, I know the legs are starting to really feel this. We get our legs underneath us. We feel their support for maybe 3 more breaths as we go to the left side. Gentle hug into the low belly as you exhale. And then walk your hands back to center, stepping back, either child's pose or downward dog. So, depending on your intention, just explore either pose for 3 to 5 breaths. Might let your knees bend, bring your knees back to the floor, look forward and back into child's pose. Right, so our first child's pose of the day, just bringing the forehead down. We might take this a little more dynamically, just warming up the flexion in the knees, just working with the tendons, the ligaments coming up. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, hips back into child's pose. So you might try that with your breath, really slowing down our breath, right? Even using the SH sound to slide back into child's pose. So it might be something like this, where it's a inhale forward. And just stay in child's pose. Pause for several more breaths. And we'll swing our legs around in front, coming into seated for a few seated poses, right? Maybe coming on to your blanket or bolster to raise your hips up higher if you need to. Right, so coming into seated, stretching the legs forward, right? Lengthening from sitting bones to heels. Draw the toes back. Flare your toes a little bit. See if you can spread your toes. This is really good for the intrinsic muscles of the lower legs. We'll come into Dandasana. Spreading our tendons wide with our fingers, right? Feel those tendons. Press the palms down next to your hips and rise through that central channel as you press the backs of the knees down. Dandasana is the foundation of all our seated poses. And you find the rib cage rise, tuck of the chin slightly. We'll just release a little bit, and that same idea, draw your right heel in towards your sitting bone for a spinal twist. You could cross your foot over if you like, right? And lifting up, we're going to take our right arm, stretch it tall, and turn back. We're going to place the right hand behind the hip or on a block if you need to be higher. Wrap the left arm, come into your spinal twist. Right? And there's a hug of the belly towards the spine, the belly towards the thigh, thigh towards the belly. 5 breaths here. You might close your eyes and balance out the body sensation. Bring in the breath. Remember your intention. And we'll come back to neutral, right? Stretch that leg out straight. Maybe wiggle them out a little bit. Let's bring the left foot in, right? Left arm overhead to lengthen the left side body before we spin to that direction. Left hand behind you. Wrap your right arm. And just like spinning on that ray of light down through our central channel. So like it's wrapping around from base to crown. As we slow down and go deeper towards the end of class, we really lengthen out your exhale and find a pause at the end of the exhale. And we'll come all the way back around, right? Stretch the legs out. Take a breath. We'll reach forward. Flex the feet, squeeze the legs slightly, tuck the low belly. We're going to take about 4 to 5 breaths to lower down, bringing our attention deep into our core, right? Between our hip bones, down to the pelvic floor. All the way onto your back and a full body stretch. And so we'll bring our arms back down by our sides, bend your knees, right? Just adjust so your spine is neutral. Coming into a bridge pose. arms by your sides. Just press your upper arm bones back. So find as much upper arm bone um, tuck or scapula flatten onto the back to start. And then inhale, just start to tuck your tailbone a little bit. So you're pressing into your feet. We're going to go up slowly so we can kind of feel what's supporting us here. So we're going to press into the feet, feel the legs engage. So it's not all the glute muscles. There's a lot of the whole 360 degrees of our upper legs supporting the bridge. And then as you get to the top, you might tuck your shoulders back a little more, even clasp the hands, but that's not absolutely necessary. That's going to give you a little more lift or support for your upper back. Good, just arriving, right? And then lowering. So we're going to release the shoulders, roll down through the spine. Bring the hips back to the floor. And let your knees rock inward towards each other. So we just let the low back relax for a moment. Nice deep breath in and out. We're going to take one more hip bridge, but we're going to widen our knees. So a wide-legged hip bridge or Setu Bandhasana pose. So our feet will come outwards, our toes slightly turned out now because our feet are at the outer edges of our yoga mat. And we're going to reach our fingertips towards our heels. And as you then lift, like pressing again the upper arm bones back, reaching for the heels, lengthening the arms, pressing down against the floor to help that rise. But then again, using all four corners of your feet, big toes, and coming into this wide-legged Setu Bandhasana. And then lowering back down. Right, bringing your feet in slightly. Relax your knees towards each other. Take a nice deep breath. Even place your hands on your belly. And now feel that breath moving in to the low, low belly. We're going to take our movement into Shavasana. So as we come out of our asana, our poses, moving into pranayama, I'll guide you with some pranayama practices just on your back before full relaxation. And so in your comfortable reclined posture of Shavasana, moving more subtly into sensation, starting to bring awareness to where the breath moves into the nostrils and out of the nostrils. with the lightness of the ethers or akasha. Akasha is space. It's very light, it's open, it's expansive. So the breath should be light, expansive, and subtle. And so we can start to deepen the breath without making it a big breath. So as you slowly lengthen the breath, expanding the belly, filling the low belly with the breath. And then on the exhalation, gently drawing the pelvic floor in, the low belly in, letting the subtle, slow exhale out the nostrils be very light and long. And the inhale, subtle, light, low and slow down to the low belly, expanding, filling. Pelvic floor expands as well. And we're gathering our prana and sealing it in, our energy, our vitality. And as you're exhaling, you're gently squeezing pelvic floor, low belly, as the air exits the body very gently and subtly and long. So as you continue with that pranayama practice, just seeing how you feel, you might find a little bit of like you feel like you need more breath. And that's okay. So that just paying attention to that, you can have a point of feeling like, oh, I need a breath, and just start to inhale again. But you could bring a little space at the end of your exhale and wait for a pause or two till you really feel like you need to inhale, but not forcefully, right? Just a pause and hang out in that space, that pause at the end of your breath. As you continue that deep, low, slow, subtle breath, notice that your attention has moved deeply inward, right? As we move away from our external distractions, this turning inward is called pratyahara, part of our five-limbed or eight-limbed path of yoga. And our attention goes in, and you might return to a natural breath and just surrender completely. Just let the body relax. As you turn away from the outside and go in, noticing the vital energy flowing through your body, through movement or heat, or subtle sensation. This pratyahara, this turning inward, interoception. So, just revisiting your intention for today, you might see, just ask yourself how you feel, how your practice was today. Maybe even noticing the state of your mind, the quality of your mind right now, or any shift or change. So, Shavasana is a state of pratyahara. And if you're moving on to meditation, you could come to your meditative posture now. If you're ending your practice, then namaste to you all. If you're coming into a comfortable seat for meditation, you might just do just a brief guide. So we notice we're going from pratyahara now, that internal shift, to concentration or dharana, part of our eight-limbed path. And as you hold or come with your erect spine and groundedness through your legs, your feet, and your pelvis, and the crown of your head nice and tall, but the chin slightly pulled in. So you might just begin with a focused concentration on a single point where the breath enters the nose and exits the nose. Staying with that one pointed focus on the breath, just moving in and moving out. An alternative could be a peaceful image, maybe behind the closed eyes. There's an image you have of peace, tranquility, love, and you maintain a fixed concentration just on that peaceful image. So either one, just to bring your one pointed focus. As you sustain focus on the image or the breath, we move into dhyana or meditation, that sustained concentration, internal awareness. As you stay with dhyana or meditation, distractions are just like clouds passing through. And you return to your one pointed focus. Allow, let us all go into silent meditation now.